Newcastle Fans TV.
Yes, hello everyone, that was Chris Wood scoring the penalty, and this is the last word. I'm joined by Johnny and Johnny's pal Michael on the end, and we are proudly sponsored on this video by Boohoo Man. That you can get an extra 10% off at any offer that they have on their website. Have a look in the description down below, but let's crack on with the video. Johnny, I'll come to you. It was going to be interesting because we were talking on the preview, me and Sam were thinking, who's he going to go with? Is he going to mix it up? Is there going to be changes considering the shambolic display which you were at Spurs? Were you surprised?
Not really. I think Eddie Howe basically said that Joe Willock was definitely unlikely to play, and it would have been interesting to see how Joe Linton, Shelvey and Bruno would play today. And I don't get it many times, right? But I actually got the team right in the pub, and Michael can back me for that. I mentioned that a little bit later. But fantastic to see.
I got the scoreline right as well, so I gets the team right, I get the scoreline right.
That's what we want, isn't it? That's what we want. We could just do that every week and then we'd be millionaires. But anyway, no, I was happy with the team. I think, look, changes had to be made. I think Manquillo didn't really cover himself in glory last week, and Kraft probably had to deserve to come back in. Midfield was obviously, it was important to see who was going to play, and then going forward it wasn't really going to change. But no, I was happy enough, and I thought when I seen the Wolves team, I thought this team is capable of beating Wolves. When you've got no Jimenez and no Neves, they're there for the taking for sure.
And if you pass if you just pointed over at Michael, Johnny was talking about the Wolves side there. You mentioned Neves, you mentioned there's no Jimenez. You looked at that lineup, there was the wing backs which we expected, but did anyone stand out for you in that lineup? Thinking, we've got to watch out for him. I know obviously Juan scored a couple, didn't he?
Yeah, Juan earlier in the season was fantastic against us. He's been a threat for the Wolves side kind of going forward, you know. Trincao, solid player. But then you look, they had Pedro Neto on the bench. Kundal, who's he in the middle of the centre of the park. In terms of the attacking threat, as Johnny was saying, there's no reason why we couldn't beat them today. And I wasn't worried at all.
Wasn't worried at all. Let's get it in the first half, because this is a side that are on the verge of trying to get into Europe, the Conference League and what have you. And I thought, Johnny, they were. I know we talked about it in the match reaction earlier. Go back and have a look. I thought Wolves were really basic, poor. We had a lot of the ball. I know we didn't do much with the ball, don't get me wrong, but this is a side that are trying to get into Europe, and I thought Newcastle, it just needs that killer instinct in the final third. It
really was. You nailed it on the head. It was that killer instinct, and if Newcastle had that, we wouldn't be winning this game 1-0. It'll be 2, 3, 4-0. It'll be really, really comfortable. But the one thing that really surprised me, Wolves were happy to let us have possession. They were really happy to just play it around the back and just go, well, Dan Burn can play a Fabio Silva can play it back to Dan Burn, and eventually you're going to get those probing passes, and when you give it to Bruno and Shelvey, and Bruno in particular tonight, you can see that they've got a ball, they've got a pass in them, and there was too many times from a Wolves point of view be going, well, press them, stop that passes. And Newcastle did the exact opposite, especially when Wolves had the ball. They were pressing, they were making Wolves make mistakes, especially at the back. I couldn't tell you how many times in that first half Wolves were kicking the ball out of play, or there was a missed touch, and Newcastle winning the ball, and it was so comfortable. It was great to watch. It really, really was. I think the only downside of the first half, in particular, the first 15 minutes or so, was Ryan Fraser coming off Lee.
And I've totally forgot about that, haven't I? I'll talk about the Ryan Fraser situation, because I've been championing him to get in the side for a long time, because I've seen what he can do with Bournemouth. We all have, with the relationship that he's got with Callum Wilson. He's had a great run of form, and I actually think he's a little bit unfortunate possibly not to be considered for a contender, at least for Player of the Month for February, and possibly some part of March. But we'll hope that's not too bad with the injury. Expect it to be, I would imagine, at least a couple of weeks. Is that John Ruddy? Looks like John Ruddy. We have got people that walk past, didn't we? It is. It's John Ruddy who's just walked past in front of the camera. Where was that? So, go back. So, obviously, we hope that Ryan Fraser's not too bad. But I want to come to you, Michael, that VR decision.
Yeah.
Did you have a good view of it? How was it they were in the Gallowgate? I can't see it.
Do you know, to be honest, it was kind of like just a melee. There was obviously a lot of possession kind of going on, but I've had confirmation afterwards it was solidly offside. It's just one of those that you can't. It's one where that's what VAR is here for, and it's clear cut. So no argument. Yeah,
we couldn't see. Obviously, when I get back here, I'll see it. But why is he not with a team bus?
They've got a rare weekend off, footballers, haven't they?
Fourth choice.
Maybe.
That may be why. That's John Ruddy's just literally there. Going into the second half, Johnny, you can talk about the first 15 minutes or so. because it was Wolves who came out, and I said on the WhatsApp, in our WhatsApp, that Wolves were awful, and Sam was like, they'll show a different side to them second half, and they did for the first 15 minutes, and they were coming to our final third, but again, they didn't have that final instinct. Did they miss Jimenez tonight?
No, massively miss Jimenez, because every time a ball was coming over, Dubravka was getting his hands on it in terms of like catching in terms of like practice and catching crosses, and then you're always going out for a goal kick, or Target was heading away, or Burn was heading away, or Share was heading it away. So Newcastle were very, very comfortable tonight, and it's great to see, because Newcastle defensively over the edge, you go, I'm not too sure about this defence. But even without Kieran Trippier, who was our first choice right back today, we looked solid, we looked really, really comfortable. And sometimes that's more important more than anything, because clean sheets will keep you up. Clean sheets will win you leagues if you're a Man City or a Liverpool in the end as well. So look, that's the most important thing, is making sure you've got a solid defence, and then you've got a little bit of a killer instinct up front.
And then Michael was started to get on the ball a little bit more. Were you thinking at the time, the goal's not coming, or because we started to get on the ball, it's a matter of time? Does Eddie Howe need to change it at that start, around about the hour mark?
We're all Newcastle fans, aren't we? We're quite used to having possession, having a bit of impetus on the ball, and just it goes 0-0 and it's 90 minutes, and you're like, we should have changed something. And at that point, I thought Bruno was imperious, Dan Burn was fantastic. We did have a little bit of momentum there after that first 15-20 minutes of the second half, and it just all changed. And I don't know what happened, but just a couple of decisions went our way, whether it be kind of like, a 50-50 call on a free kick or whatever. And, Maxi, to all his credit, he's sometimes final ball is terrible, but just him stretching the back four was kind of what we needed. And, eventually we got the penalty in the end.
Let's talk about the incident, Johnny. So yes, he was getting in the second half. He was getting a lot more freedom, because he has been criticised a lot, and he got a lot more freedom. I think the fans appreciate that a little bit more, and it's a great flick. And then he's played in Joe Linton, and then Joe Linton's just slots in Chris Wood, and it's a blatant penalty. I'm literally right in front of it. Got balls to take it, because he's been struggling, hasn't he?
He really has, and look, 1 goal so far for Newcastle to that point. No home goals. Obviously, he was very unlucky not to get a home goal earlier on in that game, which we've mentioned before. But I like the fact that, I'm going to take responsibility. I want to get that first goal at home. I want to hear the roar from St James's Park. And I love the fact that it was in the Gallowgate as well. It really, really was. It was fantastic that he had the balls to take it. St Jose saw the wrong way. He knew where he was going to put his penalty. No chance for the Wolves goalkeeper. And you could see that roar of emotion.
I like the fact all the players went to him as well.
Yeah, of course. And I think that the players appreciate the fact that he needed that goal, maybe especially at home. But, I just love the fact that everybody went over, gone, right, come on, let's build on this. And then he just let that little bit of emotion. The fans fed off it as well. It was really, really nice to see. And that's what he probably needed. And the fact that now everyone's talking about him being the match winner, being the man who got the 3 points for Newcastle, got that important goal. Hopefully he can take that on from now to the end of the season, because Callum Wilson doesn't look like he's coming back anytime soon. So the fact that he keeps himself fit, he links the play up well. It can only help Newcastle going forward. But we probably could have killed it off with Bruno later on as well, Lee.
Yeah, we'll talk about that now. Obviously, the crowd was starting to bounce, and they were singing going round as well, which I thought the atmosphere went a little bit flat. I understand why Wolves were on top, and then they just needed someone to step up and have a bit of spark. Obviously, Chris Wood has won the penalty and, of course, scored it as well. But Michael, obviously, Johnny's talked about it, because then Wolves would have to then start coming out. They were leaving a few more gaps in behind. Yeah. ASM was getting the ball. Bruno was getting on the ball. He nearly scored.
I think we always judge players by what they contribute, whether it be an assist, like a killer pass or a goal, or like a goal-saving tackle. But sometimes just stretching a defence, like taking the ball up the pitch and taking it into an area that they can't use it, it's underrated. And for all his, like I said before, all his kind of like final ball sometimes can be quite poor. He does it so well, and he stretched the game. Bruno played it fantastically, just controlling it in the middle of the park. Shelvey as well did quite well, and I can't discredit Kraft and Target. Kraft sometimes quite poor as well. Yeah, we're all familiar with that, but they just controlled it really quite imperiously for the last 30 minutes of the game. They got through a couple of times, but again, was I worried? Not really.
The only really chance, Johnny, that they had was that Dubravka save towards the end, and I said it earlier on that I just didn't think much of Wolves. I was really surprised, considering we're the team that's just been battered off Spurs, and we're on a bad run of losses, and Wolves are trying to get into Europe. And they would have came here the night and thought, this is what a time to play Newcastle. And then obviously they did fall to Dubravka into that save. We'll talk about individual performances after we hear from Eddie Howe, but that was the only really chance that they had, and I thought they put more pressure on, and they just didn't. I thought we were pretty comfortable.
I've never felt so comfortable that Newcastle were going to hold on for 3 points. And then this is Newcastle we're talking about. We talked about that save, the Dubravka save. That's the only real significant save he's had to make all game. It's a great save, but I expect him to make that save because, like I say, we're talking about the calibre of Dubravka, but I expect him to make that save. And it was a good save. But if I was a Wolves fan, I'd be disappointed. Travelling up rather to the northeast on a Friday night, it's a long journey, and the fact that I don't think they've got value for money at all. But in terms of Newcastle, did Dan Burn or Fabian Schär look really out of place today in terms of they're out of position or they've made a mistake? Not really. Matt Targett and Emil Kraft I felt were comfortable all night, and special praise to Matt Targett. Doesn't really get a lot of mentions by Newcastle fans, but he's always a 7 out of 10 every week,
except from Sunday.
Apart from last, you know what I mean? Like even on Sunday, like I didn't think it was massively that bad. I felt other people were worse than him, but he's just so consistent. He doesn't give you a lot in terms of like a right winger going, I'm going to get past you. He looks so comfortable, and I'm really pleased to see like a fullback who can defend, and it can contribute a little bit going forward. He can make those overlapping runs and not be annoyed if Maxi goes inside, cuts inside. So look, really happy. Newcastle deserves all 3 points. There's no shadow of a doubt about that.
Yeah, we'll not talk about Matt Targett after Eddie Howe since we're just chatting about him there. So Johnny's a big fan of his performance tonight. But here is the boss. Here's Eddie Howe.
No, we've still got work to do, and I said that to the players in the dressing room. But that was a massive step forward tonight. That brings us closer to safety, but it's not there. Yeah, there will be a different Newcastle, I hope, in the future. But at the moment, we've got to play a certain way to get the results we need. Well, no, he's going to be the mainstay of the team for sure. I think the difficulty is we went on that winning run with the midfield of Willock, Jolinson and Shelvey, and it was difficult to break that up while we were performing so well. But he's had his opportunity today. I thought he was excellent. He gave us a different dimension in there. But I'm really excited about what he can do for the team.
So that was Eddie Howe. He's happy. We'll come at performances in a second, but Mike, I'll come to you. Is that Newcastle safe now then?
Yes. I think with the run of fixtures that we've got, there's still another 4 home games out of the last 7, I think. So you'd bet your bottom dollar that we're going to pick up the necessary points. You look at Burnley.
If we lose every single game, are you confident now that Burnley and Watford kind of catch us?
Watford aren't, certainly. Norwich are gone, clearly. It's between Burnley and Everton, between them for that final.
Go on, Everton.
Yeah, please get them gone. But yeah, it's not mathematically there, but confidence in my head going, you're playing Palace, you've got Norwich in there, you've got Burnley last game of the season. I know they'll be fighting for their lives in that game if they are in that place, but you're going to pick up an extra 3 points somewhere, and that's you done. So yeah, safe.
I think one more point. I think that'll be, I said 4 points overall, but one more. Johnny, where do you stand on that?
I would like one more win. I think you've got to think over the years, 35 points has always been... I think everyone talked about 40 points a few years ago, but actually when you think about it, it's 35 points. If you can get 35 points nowadays, you're nearly there. I think you're asking Burnley and Everton to pick up 10 points from the last 9 games, which could happen. They could pick up a couple, maybe not both of them, but they could pick up a couple of wins. And look, Everton's fixtures are horrendous. They are absolutely horrendous. I would worry if I was an Everton fan. Burnley are Burnley. You just don't know what you're going to expect from them, but you know that they're going to pick up the odd point where you don't expect them to.
That's because you live there.
No, I would never say that about Burnley. But no, I would like one more win, and I think we can do it against Leicester next week because they've got Europa Conference League on Thursday away from home, and then they've got to come up to Newcastle. Newcastle have got to be thinking, nice week's rest, Sunday kick off. They're not one at Leicester. Surely we've got to think, let's get the 3 points, and then we can everyone can have a nice Easter.
That's why Johnny's so pale. When he used to live in Burnley, they just don't get the sun out there.
No, they don't. Generally don't. I'm confirmed.
Let's talk about some performances tonight. Obviously, you've talked about Matty Targett, Johnny. I only think there's one man the match.
Of course.
I think, he's got his own song. I think he dictated all of the play tonight. You know how I'm on about, yeah. I don't have to name drop them. What a performance. I said in the match reaction, right now, that's a player that's too good for Newcastle until we have another couple of transfer windows, because for the first time tonight, I was at Southampton, but I was front row and I hated it. I couldn't see all of the game. But tonight,
You love the front row, don't you?
I used to get the front row a lot, but no, since I detached myself from that travel group, stop getting us into trouble. So tonight was the first time I properly seen him, and you can tell he's a Brazilian international.
Yeah, Bruno is unbelievable. Like even last week when I was at Tottenham, he was the only player at 4-1 down, 5-1 down. He was like, just give me the ball. I'm happy to have the ball. And Michael talked about it a little bit earlier, the fact that he was just so composed on the ball, the fact that he was just playing the easy passes if he needed to. I did feel like a couple of times that the players around him just weren't on the same wavelength. Yeah. And I think that
because he's a calibre.
He is a calibre. He's a level above. He is a level above, and you would just think that can actually improve the players, improve your Miguel Almirons, your Saint-Maximins, your Chris Woods, etc. And that will help us climb the table. But I can't stress this enough. He just makes it look so easy and so cool. You don't feel nervous on him when he's on the ball.
That can come in quite quickly on that. Like, it's the way he dictates play.
Yeah.
Like, he's got somebody touch tight to his back, and he's begging them for the ball.
He's got a rotating head.
And you can see the frustration in his face when somebody like a Matty Targett or a Kraft doesn't play him the ball, even though he's got two players at his back, and you're like, that's what we need. Yeah. But it just like it makes me so happy for the future of, like, if that's the future of Newcastle United Football Club, that's everything I've wanted for the last 13 years.
He's got to start regardless. He's now for me
number one midfielder.
Yeah, and then you'll have your other two out of the other four that remain for me. He's got to. Michael, is there any other notable mentions tonight except from Bruno, because he'll take the headlines? Obviously, Chris Wood.
Yo, I mean, do you know what? Like, again, I see on Twitter a lot. Like, he gets a lot of stick, does Chris Wood, but his work rate, again, off the ball, I'm saying, like, it's not a token gesture of, like, I've got an assist. Tonight he obviously got the winning goal, but, like, his work rate off the ball is fantastic. He's always looking in behind for a ball through. I think, again, although his end product was a bit amiss tonight, Maxi stretched the play. I think he was, a good 6-7 out of 10 there, and Shelvey just does his job. Like, again, where's he come from recently? Like, he's been brilliant. Him with Willock, Joe Linton, or Bruno, and back four were fantastic.
Yeah, I think the back fours are all 7s and 8s on, and I think the night Wolves made it pretty easy for our back four, to be honest with you. But is anyone else, Johnny? Obviously, you've got the love for Matty Targett. Obviously.
Yeah, I thought Matty Targett was brilliant today. I really did. But I'm going to give a bit of credit to the manager tonight, because there was a little bit, maybe we're going to say there's a little bit of pressure in this.
What, overreaction?
Yeah, because maybe there was three defeats in a row. Like, I know the two defeats were Tottenham and Chelsea we did play very well. Everton, we just didn't have that killer instinct even when they went down to 10 men, which is a shame. Tottenham just capitulated second half in particular. But I think there was a little bit of pressure on them today, just can we get that win at home in front of our own fans? And you could see what it meant to him at the end. The old fist pumps, a bit like a Jurgen Klopp one, where he gives it the cup. It was Eddie Howe won at the Gallowgate End, which was brilliant to see. But yeah, I thought there was a little bit of pressure on him today. What I really liked was the press. I really liked the press towards Wolves in particular when they had possession. It was like, we're not giving you a second. We really want to make sure that we're going to have the ball as long as we did, and especially in the first half, it worked a treat. But yeah, I think it's going to be a nice weekend on Tyneside.
It is a nice weekend. I've got the whole weekend off, and Newcastle have already played. What am I going to do? What am I going to do on the weekend? I'll have to create some videos for you. I don't know. From myself, from Johnny, from Michael, that's been the last word of St James's Park. We're all going to go home. I think you two are probably going to party and having a drink, but it's cold and I've got videos to edit. So see you later, everyone. Ta-da.